Howdy folks, this is Crypto for Cash. Now I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before spending your hard-earned money. These are my opinions, but it's your hard-earned money that you're risking should you decide to invest. If you like my opinions, please hit that like button and feel free to subscribe. Now Vic Wilburn Artistic Photography. They will be providing me with a different image for you to enjoy while I'm talking to you. For each video that I make, it'll be a different image. Now, why don't you go visit them? You can find them on Facebook at Vic Wilburn Photo. Alright, now today I thought I'd tell you a little bit about the first time I heard of Bitcoin. I talk about Bitcoin a lot. It kind of leads the market. It was the first, and the rest of them kind of follow what it does, so we can kind of use it as the subject matter, and it can kind of cover the rest of them. Anyway, now I'm not the type to get into the latest technologies normally. Now my son, who is the type to get into the latest technologies, asked me if I knew what Bitcoin was. I didn't, so he went on to explain it to me. He said it's a digital currency. It was gaining in value. He said only a certain amount would ever be mined, and in spite of the fact that it has value, it doesn't even physically exist. Well, that sounded nuts to me. But it was interesting enough for me to learn more. I learned there were other digital currencies as well. Now, I don't like the term altcoins to describe all coins that ain't Bitcoin, because there's a lot of differences between these cryptos. Some of these projects are going to take the world by storm, and others are just going to fail. Now, I learned about the volatility of this market, and I thought this could be a great investment. I believe in the technology, and I believe there's a need for it. What differs me from other crypto enthusiasts is I don't believe these will replace the US dollar. Not anytime soon anyway. I don't believe banks are going away, and like it or not, our government's here to stay. So I definitely prefer the projects that work with banks, with government regulators. Now let's talk about the Token Taxonomy Act. Now Republican Warren Davidson and Democrat Darren Soto proposed the Token Taxonomy Act. Imagine that. Cryptocurrency already brought one Republican and one Democrat together. Well, that's really saying something nowadays. Anyway, the Token Taxonomy Act was introduced to Congress to amend the Securities Act of 1933 and the Securities Exchange Act of 1934 to exclude digital tokens from the definition of a security. Now, to me, that's a no-brainer. What would an 85-year-old law have to do with brand new technology like cryptocurrency? Now, getting this thing passed into law, that would be a game changer for sure. Remember, cryptocurrencies don't have to destroy banks and governments and printed money to make us all rich, or richer, depending on your definition of rich. All-time highs have been reached again and again. Now, 1 decade, that's the entire lifespan of cryptocurrency. And so far, it has already reached these highs again and again, in spite of all the haters and the naysayers, who, by the way, have been running their mouths from the start. It's getting harder to take these words like scam and Ponzi scheme seriously when you are describing something that has continuously seen higher highs, higher lows for a whole decade. You may say, yeah, but it sure has been a long time since we saw that high in 2017. So let me give you some examples of why I believe it's just a matter of time. Even though higher highs and higher lows have been reached many times, let me tell you about 3 major bull run-ups in the past 10 years. Now, Bitcoin was created in 2009, and it was valued at less than a penny. but let's just say it was valued at a penny. 2 years later, it reached almost $10. If you would have invested $100, you could have cashed out at $100,000. That's a pretty good run-up for 2 years. However, that was followed with disappointment when the price came crashing back down to 6 cents. Now, I'm sure lots of people were saying how Bitcoin was dead, scam, Ponzi scheme, all that stuff. However, 2 years later, the price ran up to $1,129. Now, that's a pretty good run-up from 6 cents. Now, that time, if you would have invested at 6 cents, $100, you could have cashed out at $1,874,140. That's pretty good for a second run-up. However, that was followed with disappointment, and the price crashed back down to just over $200. Well, 4 years later, the price ran up to almost $20,000. If you would have bought in at that low of $200, you could have cashed out at $10,000. That's a pretty good run-up for a third bull run. Well, we know what happened after that. 2018 came along and it crashed down. That puts us where we're at today. Now, all indications lean towards the fourth one being the big one, because until now, this market has been built on speculation. But now we have regulations coming. Wall Street is coming. New investors are coming. Real use case scenarios are coming. Now, there was a little story that I heard, and this was from the Digital Asset Investor. Now, he repeated it. It was actually C3 Nick that came up with this, but I liked it, so I thought I'd share it with you. It says, don't jump on a train while it's blasting at full speed, or you may get hurt. Get on the train while it's in the station. Just be sure about what kind of train it is and make sure it's heading in the right direction. Well, that's pretty good advice when it comes to any kind of investment. If the media is saying, yeah, Bitcoin's doing great, then you've probably already missed your chance. You want to get in on it while no one's talking about it. You want to get in on it when the negative news is out, because you want to already be there and in place when that train starts picking up speed. So, good luck. Hope you enjoyed this, and thank you for listening to Crypto for Cash.